Hey there, welcome back to Adventure in Art. I'm Ben Staley. I got issues, okay? I wake up too early and I get insomnia, and this happens quite a lot. So one day, last week or the week before, I don't know, it happened. I woke up at like 4 in the morning, knew that I wasn't gonna go back to sleep. It was about an hour before sunrise, so I grabbed my backpack and I grabbed my Q2 and I went for a walk. And that's what this video is. Now I was gonna release this more as just no talking, just me walking around, show some pictures I took and have some sounds over it, and that was gonna be the video. But as I was finishing it and I was putting in the camera information for every shot, the ISO, the aperture, the f-stop, I realized that wow, my settings varied widely, and you could really see, what I did with the settings, with the aperture, with the shutter speed, with the ISO, trying to accomplish what I was trying to accomplish with every picture I was taking. And I thought, well, maybe I should put some narration in and talk about these things, which are things that I never talk about. And maybe I should, since I'm doing this here YouTube thing. So that's what this is. I'm going to narrate along. I'm going to tell you why I chose the settings specifically in each case. And keep in mind, this is me with insomnia. Out before the sun has come up and a little bit after, walking around, mostly just trying to stretch my legs, trying to clear my head. It's a little meditative for me. It's relaxing. This is what I like to do. I do this often, and I don't really have a goal. I'm not trying to photograph anything specifically. I'm kind of just walking around and taking pictures of whatever catches my eye. And so, I don't know. I hope you enjoy it. Let me just say one thing. If you would do me a favor and like the video after you watch it and subscribe to the channel if you dig it. I've got a lot of things in the pipeline, partially finished, mostly finished, haven't started yet, but there's a lot of stuff coming up. So thanks for watching. Here we go. All right, here we go. So it's about 5 in the morning. You can see the horizon there was a little blue. And I have somewhere I'm intending to go, but I think I want to stop on the way and get a few pictures. I like this section of road. It's like long and wide and the curve of the lights. So I stop and take a few pictures. But I'm moving pretty fast because there's somewhere I want to go and I want to be down there before the sun comes up. So 1/15 of a second. You can really do that kind of stuff handheld with the Q2 with the stabilization. Normally you don't want to shoot that low, but you can do it if you're careful. Some cars, just kind of experimenting, mostly just to see what it looks like. Half a second there at f8. Here we are, f13, half a second. I'm trying to get the star pattern with the closed aperture from the streetlights. There's a longer one, 3 seconds, f16. I dig the way the streetlight looks. Not taking too much time there. No tripod, putting the camera on the ground so it would be relatively stable. All right, we're back wide open. And now we are cruising down this path, which actually just runs behind a Lowe's warehouse. The sky already is really starting to warm up. That's the moon up there, and so I'm not rushing, but I'm not taking my time either. I'm getting a few shots on the way. There we go, some lights, and tried to crush it a little bit to get the sky in. Let the features go dark, and it's really starting to light up. It just happens really quick once it happens. Now, funny story. I wish I could have captured this. I'm coming down this ramp, and just beyond me, kind of right there in front of where I am, out in the sand, there were 4 coyotes just sitting there looking at me, and I think I really surprised them coming down there. They didn't expect to see anybody. It's kind of their playground. And I wasn't prepared. I had my coffee cup in my hand. My camera was on manual focus, and I'm just not even thinking about shooting coyotes. And so by the time I could get settled, they ran off. But they were just kind of staring me down like, dude, what are you doing here? And looking like they got caught with their hands in the cookie jar or something. There we go. A little bird flew over. This whole place is... This dry riverbed is kind of an animal superhighway. I see critters down there all the time. I found that red umbrella. I thought that really popped. A lot of critters. You see bobcat tracks. I've seen a lot of coyotes down there. So the sun is not quite up yet, and I'm moving along the river. It had rained a few days earlier, so there's still some runoff down there. Eventually, in the middle of the summer, the water will dry up. But but I'm just kind of shooting what catches my eye. You know, I don't really have, oh, there's the first light of the sun. I don't really have a goal. Just kind of going for a walk. I'm trying to clear my head, stretch my legs, kind of wipe the cobwebs out of my head. This is meditative for me. This is fun. I like to hear the sounds. I like to hear the birds. I like to hear the water running. That's a close focus shot. I love that bokeh of the Sunilux lens. It's really great. And that's not even macro. That's just close focusing, 28 millimeters. It gets pretty thick down here, and it's like this. It's like a weird little jungly universe. It's pretty awesome. Super dig it. This creek runs quite a ways. It'll get bigger if it rains a lot more. The whole thing will flood sometimes, and then it gets kind of muddy, and you can't go down there for a while. And then sometimes in the middle of summer, the water will completely dry up. But you know, this is late spring, and there's the sun. There's a lot of critters down there: bobcats, coyotes, rabbits. I am friends with Fish and Wildlife folks, and they've told me yes, there are mountain lions. There's a lot of residential areas around here, and I think people would be freaked out if they knew there was actual lions in their neighborhood, but there's not a lot of them, and they stay away from people. But there's an elementary school like a half a mile from here. Now we're going to do some macro. Oh man, I just dig the macro. So it pushes the, you go to the macro and it pushes the lens to 2.8. So my ISO is low now because it's bright enough, and I'm just going for as close a focus as possible, maximum bokeh, and I just really love the macro setting on the Q2. Just continue walking. We're probably a half hour after sunrise now. I've covered a couple miles actually, and I'm just kind of seeing what catches my eye. Now that's a super tough shot, just shooting back into the sun. You know, you're either going to crush all the environment if you want to see the sun, or you're just going to blow out the sun. Some more macro, 2.8, 2/50th of a second. Really like the colors. Most of my photos I will grade in black and white, but sometimes, man, you're just like, oh, I got to show this color. And love those greens and yellows. It's so cool down here. It's like a whole other universe. Somewhere around this time, and I didn't have audio recording of this, but there was a coyote in the bushes, and he just started yelling at me. Or she. It might have been a mama. And she was just kicking my butt and yelling at me, and did not want me to get near. Maybe had cubs or something. Okay, these are my favorite pictures, I think, and I'm just trying to, I put the camera really low, trying to get that water out of focus in the foreground, a little higher here. Just trying to, you know, frame up those electrical towers, symmetrical, kind of over the stream. There's a different perspective. I think my favorite is actually the very first one that shows up. You could rewind and look at that if you want. There's some garbage. There's a lot of junk and discarded stuff down here, stuff that's washed down here when it's flooded. I'm always walking around just imagining this is like some lost universe in the future, and, you know, civilization has crumbled and suburban America is buried underneath this old river. It's not too far from the truth, folks. It's so cool. This thing runs all the way to the ocean. A lot of shopping carts down there. F4.5, just trying to get a little wider depth of field. Keep more of it in focus. It's really getting bright, about out of the good light. It starts to get pretty hard to make good photos when the sun gets up, about an hour after sunrise. So, there's an old bicycle. I like the color of that frame and the rust, so we kept that one in color. There's another old shopping cart, a lot of shopping carts, 6.3. Again, trying to keep a little wider depth of field, keep more of it in focus. And some macro. I just love doing the macro shots. 1000th. It's getting pretty bright out. And then taking a picture of this tree line at 3.2, probably just trying to keep the depth of field a little wider. If it's a wide shot, then I will just on the fly adjust the aperture. It's real easy, and it's right there in the front of the lens. But normally I just like to shoot wide open. If you have a 1.7, you should be shooting a 1.7. That's how I feel. But if it's a big wide shot and you want more things in focus, then you'll just stop down. Always shooting fully manual. So I hope this covered some things. That's kind of it. That's the hike. And if you have any questions, leave a comment, and I'll try and answer it as best I can. Thanks for watching, and there's some cool stuff coming in the future. So again, help me out. Give it a like, give it a subscribe, and we'll see you down the road. Get out there and shoot something. Thanks, folks.